This is Review Your Gear Radio with your host Chris Husted and Jason Renner. Coming to you with the latest topics, reviews, and techniques for hunting and fishing in the Midwest. And here they are, Chris and Jason. Take it away, boys.
Ew. Review Your Gear Radio. I'm Chris Husted.
Jason Renner.
It is season 4, episode 5. I don't know why I almost stumbled on that. Damn, it's hot outside edition. But we're still cool. Yeah, we're that clever. But speaking of, my daughter has finally reached the age where everything I do is not cool.
Oh, I'm getting close.
Okay.
But to be fair, I think I lucked out with my daughter. She's got my weird sense of humor.
Okay.
So, I think she kind of...
You guys connect?
Yeah. You know, and but Addie kind of looks at me kind of funny, like she's the one that's kind of, okay, I don't get it.
Yeah. That's my wife. With my sense of humor. She just kind of looks at me cross-eyed like, what? But anyways, 100-degree temps are here.
Ooh.
It is time to stay hydrated.
Who said it's hot in her?
Oh. Is that your Nelly?
Yes.
Yeah. Terrible. I won't even try.
Oh, we're on fire here.
We're in fuego. So let's kick it off. Lithium batteries. Yay or nay?
Well, I was kind of on this kick of, God, I gotta get some, I gotta store some, but I'm hearing nothing but issues with burnouts and guys using them for starting batteries and completely wiping out their electronics and their big motors from them.
I don't think. Now, why? I'm just curious. Why, for your starting battery, if you're just connecting it just for a battery, why would you use lithium? You see what I'm saying?
The lightness.
I would see it more for trolling motor batteries and your electronics, but
I have heard some issues and don't know the engine type. Haven't heard the
right.
But
rumblings.
Well, it's because lithium's, even though it's 12 volt, really it's closer to 13.9. So is that higher voltage?
I heard that guys that are running their trolling motors for, like normal, 2, 3, 4 hours straight, they're burning them up. You got to let them cool off.
Correct. The other thing I heard is you can't, it's freezing temperatures outside and you have the charging system that charges during the motor running, that jacks the whole batteries up too because they're frozen.
Ouch.
You can't, supposedly you can't charge them when it's below 32 degrees.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of a big no-no too. So, again, we're kind of hearing as more people put them in there. And again, I don't know if this is just Amazon or what brand or whatever lithium batteries.
Right.
I don't know if some of these other ones are better, but I mean, it warrants. So basically what I'm saying is I think this...
It's too soon.
It's too soon. I just don't think that technology is there. I think the Garmin's and the Ghost trolling motors have been okay, but I think those are brushless motors, and brushless
is already running 30% more efficient anyways.
Correct. So I don't think you generate as much heat and I don't know.
That would make sense. I could see that. Yeah. Which brings up the next. Would you run an electric engine on your boat? Same thing. It's just too soon.
I seen this thing down at SEMA, the National Boat Show, or MEMA, or whatever national, where this Canadian company has this. I think it's 130, 140 horsepower electric motor. They got it on this. I think it's a pontoon. I think it replaces a 150 or something like that with the same. But here's the deal. You can only run it so long. And I guess the batteries it takes up almost underneath all the back seat cushions, the batteries. So I just don't get. I just don't think we're there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think we are either. It's just like vehicles, you know. There's just so many, especially up here where it's cold. You know, it's just not practical.
It's just not practical. And I mean, could you imagine? You know, you're running from Dakota Waters to the Beacon, and you have battery issues
On a windy day?
on a windy day.
Yeah.
You're hosed.
Right.
Call the Coast Guard.
It's actually not funny because everyone's been there once. I've come across a few swamp boats in the past. It can and does happen. Let's talk about something positive. Let's have some tales from the Chub Tank.
Tales from the Chub Tank.
It is getting to be the time of year, I think, where the rain is starting to slow down a tish. Now, we're still getting some rain on Monday. It looks like we got rain coming here, but
only 30% chance.
Okay.
So not great.
okay. Well, my point is, it's getting hot. I gotta imagine a lot of the creeks are settled down.
Correct.
Honest, and what's also nice is as it heats up, the ticks will start to diminish.
God, I hope so.
I think it's gonna get good here. I think, and remember, it's been a tough spring. I mean. Have we gotten chubs? Of course. We've gotten our chubs when we needed them, but I had to work literally twice as hard to get them.
So it's. Do you think also that they're further upstream and stuff because of the more water?
There, could be.
You know.
The one spot that we tried last time that my buddy got permission on, which I would have expected good things, we got ours, but again, it took a lot of time. And we did fall shorter than we wanted to be. And yeah, we were probably closer to the headwaters than you'd probably want to be, I think.
Okay.
But, chubs, they're chubs. They can be anywhere in the system. I almost feel like when the water's high, they do run up the system further. When the water's low, they stay closer to the headwaters.
Correct. I think that's true of any fish. I mean,
right.
Current, they go up as far as they can go.
Right.
So, I wonder if biologically, the further up and higher the water rises, if there's more food for them. Like more invertebrates and stuff in those pools and stuff like that,
Sure.
Or crickets or whatever, mosquitoes, mosquito larvae, whatever,
Right.
But I don't know.
Did I ever tell you the time I was chubbing and grasshoppers were jumping? It was for some weird reason, there was grasshoppers galore where we were at. And every time one would jump and land in the water, it did not last long.
It's like trout.
Chubs.
Yeah, chubs.
Yeah, they're like, they just diminished, just took it, gone. Instantly. And remember, chubs aren't that big.
Gotta go get some crickets for your next chubbing.
Well, there you go. You could fly fish chubs, I'm sure you.
Oh, hey, I wouldn't doubt if somebody would try it. I know a few guys that probably would.
As usual in the studio, Lily and what's the other dog's name? Mushu. Anyways, they're always making noises. So if you could have only one fishing rod, Renner, one rod for all types of fishing, what would it be?
Whew. And that's the reason why I kind of thought about this. I'm talking just one. You got one rod. That's it. That's you take it pan fishing, you take it chub fishing, you take it slip bobbering, you would take it everything.
Bottom bouncers,
everything. I think it's 6'6" medium spinning.
Okay.
That would be.
I'm not that far off. I would like a longer rod.
Okay.
I'd probably be closer to the 7 to 7.3 range.
Okay.
Simply because I think having a longer rod for live bait presentations to get a little further from the boat excels. But other than that, I mean, sure, could you make a 6.6 work? Of course you could.
Correct.
And I would also go with probably a medium. You can't go medium light because it just wouldn't work for everything.
No.
And you don't want medium heavy or anything like that because it's just too much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those questions. If you had somebody that said, I want one really good rod, what should I get? And that's kind of because not everybody can afford the oodles and oodles of rods like some of these guys. So
Right.
we play to our masses.
Well, I think it's gotten to be where, and I'm guilty of it, people are situational fishers. Like, I have jigging rods, I have jig wrap rods, I have live bait rods, I have trolling rods. I want to get a chub rod, or two.
But we're all guilty of it.
We're all
guilty of it. I mean, it's my 7'6" Loomis I bought specifically for Lithium rigs.
Right.
Pretty much. And that thing excels when you put it on the bottom and just lets the fish hammer. I mean, that's what it's made for. It's not the greatest bottom monster around the world, but
Right.
you put a chub on there or Lindy rig and it excels at that,
By the way, how is that cocktail, sir?
It'd be better if it was fresh orange juice.
Oh.
Ooh.
We ran out of oranges. My son ate them all. So we only had one for cocktail night.
Had to take the gloves off.
For those of you at home wondering, tonight it is Crown, Peachtree, fresh squeezed orange juice, and we had to fill it with a little extra orange juice. But I use really good orangeade too, so I buy the the supposedly squeezed, but it just ain't. But you know what I'm saying. As good as you can get without it being actually squeezed.
Yeah.
So, as far as a brand, do you have a brand if you had only one choice?
I'd probably lean towards St. Croix.
Okay.
Mainly because I've dealt with Fenwick, I've dealt with Loomis.
Yep.
On warranty stuff, and I've dealt with St. Croix on warranty stuff recently. By far the easiest.
Right.
St. Croix.
Yep.
Snap a picture of this, do this, send us a picture of the broken rod, just dispose of it, $15 will ship you now.
Right. No, it's... And how long was the warranty good for?
Well, my Avid X lifetime.
Okay.
Lifetime replacement. I mean, and then I think their lower ones are 5 years.
Okay.
Fenwick, I think that Technia, I think is lifetime, but is lifetime / for one replacement.
Sure.
It's like, okay, that's not a lifetime warranty. I mean, I don't know. Just could be me. But
Okay. Fair. Well, I have some old Fenwicks still around. The Elite Techs.
yeah, those Elite,
I like those.
and the HMGs and the Elite Techs back, the old school ones. That was some of the best bang for your buck. To me,
Yeah.
I thought they were just as sensitive as any of the high-end Loomises out there.
I really like mine. I have a couple of those Elite Techs left, the old ones.
Yeah.
I hold those near and dear. I do have some of the old HMGs. I use those for, I don't know, miscellaneous stuff. But yeah, they're nice to have. And you know what? I'm not sponsored. We're not sponsored, obviously. But sometimes the $100 tournament edition Shields rods can work in a pinch just fine.
Oh, well, I mean, it's all about what you can afford.
Right.
I mean,
But I'm saying at the end of the day, are you really going to catch more fish on a $100 rod versus a $300 rod? And some applications, maybe, yes. Most, maybe not. I don't know.
But, okay. I'm going to break this down a little further.
Uh-oh, you're going to break it down like a fraction.
No, not the breakdown. But here's the deal. If you gave a $300 rod and the most sensitive line and gave it to Joe Schmo, who's fished twice in his life, is he going to know the difference between when a fish picks up a creek chub,
No, of course
a
not.
leech, or anything on that $300
But the
rod?
average Joe Schmo isn't going to spend $300 on a rod.
But even if he did have that in his hands, would it even be worthwhile to him to have that kind of stuff where kind of guys that do spend some time and be like, wait, something's not right here. Okay. Release the bail or,
Right.
It's kind of, I don't know. It's almost like some guys have a sixth sense when it comes to when fish pick up the bait and stuff like that. And, some guys don't have it. So do you need a $300 rod if you're that guy? No.
Right.
And it's just like these guys that spend, I don't know, $200 on a trolling rod.
That's a little different. I get it. Yeah.
It
It just don't make sense.
Because it sits in the rod holder until
I get it.
it's over.
I use all mine now are shields, and those are what, about $80 a rod?
That I can see. Plus, those, they seem, pretty durable. They're not too cheap. But, I mean, it's not like, those guys, some guys are running $200 freaking
I get it.
rods on their trolling rods to just sit there and rod hold.
I get it. Trust me, I get it. Let's move on to track systems,
Ooh.
which I'm not getting in my boat. I'm getting rails. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I was about to say bars, but
But these, I'm just saying, there's not only the regular track system, but almost every aluminum manufacturer now has some type of built-in rail on the top
right.
where you can put rod holders, whatever, accessories, downrigger things,
And you can slide it up and down.
up and down. And then, but I've seen a lot of these glass boats coming now with the Traxxas systems built into them.
Sure.
I mean, you see a lot of these guys that, rod holders, though, for those things are not cheap. I mean, that's not, it's $100 to put one rod holder.
For a track?
Oh, God, yeah.
What kind of brand? Or does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Wow.
I mean, even for the mount, just because all the hardware to put in the mounts and stuff like that.
Sure.
If there's one out there, please shoot me a message because I'd like to find one. I've yet to find one that's reasonable for the track system. So, for anybody thinking
I just put like 12 mounts on my rails, call it good. They're everywhere. Well,
106.
on the Skeeter,
Yeah.
yeah, there was a few mounts on that bad boy.
So on the new boat, what rod holders are you doing?
That's a great question. Don't hate to say it. I think I have to stick with my Fulbies for trolling.
Yeah.
And I do like those quick draws.
The Cabela's quick draws.
Cabela's quick draws.
God, I seen one the other day. I can't remember. It was Alpha. But you just set them in there, and there's like this V system on the front.
Yep.
That
Collapse. Yeah.
I was actually pretty impressed with those, and they got one that's made for the bigger, like muskie rods and salmon rods. I was actually pretty impressed. I wish I would have wrote that name down, but those impressed me. But again,
How much were they?
those were, I think they were like $40.
Okay, that's not bad.
Not terrible. For the system, how much is a Floby?
Like 60. They're made in the USA.
Well,
That's one.
yeah.
So they're going to be more expensive. Two, I still don't know exactly what the material is. It's like a composite of like graphite or whatever it is. It's
cycled baby diaper.
all I know is it does not break. I've transferred them in a couple boats. I've had Fulbies now for 12 years or maybe more.
Yeah, but your set went with skeets.
It
right?
did, but
Oh, okay.
I'll get in. He really wanted them, and what am I going to? Yeah, take them. I'll get new ones.
You're such a nice guy.
I'm such a nice guy. Let's have a Mille Lacs Minute.
This is your Mille Lacs Minute. You can't keep squat till September.
In September, you can keep one, though.
Yeah. But you can't fish for them.
In July? Is it July?
Well, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hard to believe that. We're already saying that. But you can't keep squat. You can't even fish for squat in 2 weeks. That's when you're...
Fish for smallies if you catch walleyes. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
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 Throw it back. We'll be right back here on Review Your Gear Radio. And we're back here on Review Your Gear Radio. So fishing is in fuego all over the Dakotas right now. Well, it really is everywhere. It's that time of year. The water's heating up fast. Fish are on the chow.
I can't remember. What was the Lidners / in-fishermen? God, what was their term for this time of the year? It was like the peak of peaks or something. I don't know. It was something like that. But it's that time of the year.
That time of the year. I know next year I plan to travel more since this year's kind of already spoken for all the way around. But next year I'm going to travel. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to fish a tournament in South Dakota and Minnesota next year. I don't care how. It just for the fun of doing a new tournament.
Is the Pollock men's tournament this weekend?
It is. I think it is. No, it is. Because I saw pictures.
Usually,
Eli, I saw pictures of them camping down at Pollock.
It's usually that Father's Day weekend. And I'm going to say I've fished that tournament. That is one of the funner.
I've heard a lot of people.
Fishing tournament.
I was considering doing the whole Casino Cup circuit next year, which of course one's in Mobridge.
Yeah.
The
Grand River one. That's what, next weekend? 2 weeks.
I think it's July 10th.
Oh, that's really. Boy, that's.
I think. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. I should know this, but I swear it's July 10th. And then I know Four Bears is August 20th.
20th, yep.
So, because that one I'll be fishing. Let's have some headlines. This is a really cool story. A gentleman by the name of William Dunn. He has 3 kids of his own, but he noticed a kid across the street that didn't have a father, so he took him fishing, and it just kind of
blossomed from there.
Yeah. And now he takes kids out almost every weekend, and it's, I'm not going to lie, when you read stories like this, it really, really wants you to do more. I think something like this could easily exist up here in the Midwest.
To be fair, you kind of have done this with a lot of your kids as friends.
Oh, I have. But, I mean, there's still so many kids that don't have opportunities to go fishing.
Correct.
And, a day in the boat, say up in the big lake when the bite's hot, they won't forget it anytime soon.
No. My dad was kind of the neighborhood guy that did that.
Okay.
All my friends were always coming fishing. I mean, it was... I don't think I ever had to ask my dad about, hey, can
so-and-so go.
Right. It was always... hey, you got one of your buddies want to come with us? That was always a question my dad had. So,
right.
I guess kind of fitting being Father's Day weekend, and I miss my dad, so I guess this is kind of fitting. So,
I get to be without a wife and a daughter on Father's Day weekend this year, as they're coming back from Wisconsin.
Coming back from Wisco.
Honestly, though, I've seen the pictures, and I know I've been there. I know what they're doing, like the pools and...
Oh, they don't miss you at all.
They don't miss me a bit. They're like, what's Father's Day?
Yeah. Did you at least tell them to bring you some spotted cow home?
I can get spotted cow they have it at the store.
No, you can't.
What? Spotted cow, that's I'm thinking of tippy cow.
You're thinking tippy cow. I'm talking spotted cow. Wisconsin only beer.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the tippy.
No. I love Love spotted cow.
Okay. Noted.
I love
I'll
spotted
see what Lisa can do.
cow.
But the Fonz, Harry Winkler, is an avid fly angler. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
I did not either, but evidently he's got a really active social, and he's right now in Idaho, trout fishing, fly fishing, of course, and he's just bouncing around all over the place. He's all catch and release to each throw him, but yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, gripping. Look at that smile, you know, in every photo. You can tell he loves it.
He just got that much cooler. I don't know if the Fonz could get much
The
cooler.
Fonz really can't get much cooler. For those that remember the Fonz,
Yeah.
our younger listeners are like, Henry who? And they're like, oh, that's the guy that was in the Billy Madison movie.
Yes, he was the coach. Wasn't Billy Madison. It was Water Boy.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
whatever. It's you got it.
I
Twins. The Minnesota Twins are giving away free camel hats in Minnesota if you purchase a hunting or fishing license.
Plus 4 free Twins. No.
The Minnesota Twins have teamed up with the Minnesota DNR, and they're even having 4 special games this year where they you can also get a free hat and other things. You know, I think it's cool. You know, I've been really hard on the Twins since, in lack of a better word, they got so gosh darn woke. But it's good to see them. You know, getting more people in the big cities open that, hey, you're surrounded by 10,000 lakes.
Use them.
Right.
I mean, again, you know, I think the biggest thing that's being lost on some of these kids in these schools is they just don't have the opportunity to go out and hunt fish.
Right. And when you're fishing or hunting, you don't have your phone out.
Well,
Only to take pictures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But, I mean, given it's... I like to see more participation out of that state. I mean, you don't see the kids... When I used to drive Lake Minnetonka,
Right.
my sister, you just see kids out bobber fishing. I just don't see that anymore.
That kid that we know that graduated recently, he says at his school here in Bismarck, it's hard as heck to find other kids that like to fish his age and hunt. You know?
I mean...
He's got some buddies for sure, but he mostly hunts with like older people because he doesn't have people his age that share the same passion to hunt and fish.
I guess the weird thing is that sounds so weird to me because I still hunt with all my high school buddies
Right.
that I hunted with.
Right. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It's becoming, I don't want to say lost, but I mean, with all the distractions in the world today, fishing is, and it's, there's a lot of people that want to take away fishing in this world right now too. So, you know, you get heat from all over. You know, and I don't have to get into gun control and where it's headed. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just things are more complicated in the outdoors for sure, and we don't need any more complications to get kids into the outdoors.
Correct. That is so true.
So what's shaking in the garden, Mr. Renner?
Things are popping. Everything's up except for, I think I had a severe failure in my watermelons and my cantaloupe.
How come?
Just nothing came. And I heard people are having issues with that and cucumbers coming up.
Okay. I actually did lose a few cucumber plants I had to replace. My garden, everything's coming up. I couldn't be happier right now.
I'm just trying to garden my peas from the rabbits.
Okay, so well, for those that don't know, my wife built a raised garden. My wife did, yes. I did not build a raised garden. My wife built it. She, in fact, I'm not going to take any credit. She built that whole thing herself. And when I was gone fishing one weekend, she even figured out a way to move it out to the garden with my son. Did I tell you how they did it? They use PVC
Yeah.
and just roll it.
Yeah. Huh?
all the way out. I honestly, it would have taken me a New York minute to be like, oh, you're right. That is a simple and cheap and effective way to move it out there.
Yeah.
But
but everything else is looking good. Tomatoes look awesome.
mine do too.
And I did the old this year. The first time I've ever done this, I'm grass clippings in between all the plants.
Oh, you're that guy?
Doing that. Hold moisture in and keep the weeds down.
Okay.
I'm gonna be the grass clippings guy. I'm gonna be Dan the tree man. He had that for one of his tips, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it this year.
Right. Well, you have a bigger garden, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I have a small farm.
But no, this year I'm really looking forward. I have so many carrots, so many cucumbers, so many tomatoes, so many radishes, so many onions. I mean,
but to me, radishes and tomatoes are my two favorite vegetables / fruits, whatever you want to define them. Tomato, whatever.
Yep.
But to me, garden radishes and garden tomatoes cannot be replicated.
I would also agree with that. That and also carrots. I really think a store-bought carrot doesn't hold a candle to what comes out of the garden.
I mean, cucumbers.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, peas don't get, like, we don't cook them in our family. We just eat them raw.
Yep.
I mean, they don't even last long enough to. I mean, half the time my kids and wife got them eaten by the time I get the bucket up the hill.
That's a good problem to have. That's what they're there for.
That's right.
So, what do you feel is the best way to target walleye now as they're transitioning out of shallow water?
I think it's a two-pronged attack right now. I think you search for them with either go side image them.
Yep.
Or you pull cranks until you find some. Then once you find some concentrated, I think you drop down live bait on top of them. And, if you find large schools. But
if you were to go to the lake right now, what depth would you target?
I would start in 12 to 16.
Okay. I would start in 8. Maybe 7 to 9, just around there. But yeah, maybe right around there. I think that would be, especially for eaters.
Yeah.
I still think you're going to find some of the big girls shallow.
I had a bunch of guys I knew. They had a sausage party. I was giving a bad time about it. This is all guys. They went up to the hook. And the first 2 days they found a ton of fish in that 6 to 9 foot range, pitching jigs.
Mm-hmm.
But he said the last day they put a hurt on nice fish in 12 to 16 on humps.
So they were starting to slide out there.
Yeah.
I would have to, would the young of the year, no, they probably wouldn't be hatching yet, would they?
No.
So they probably would slide out, but they'll be back up.
Correct. That's where you have that division between the fish that you got the transitions, the smelt finders, and you got the ones that go back in the back of the baits. So.
Sure.
But I think I'm going to try something in the next couple of weeks that I've never done in Skakuya.
Uh-oh.
Going to go a little Devil's Lake-ish.
Slip bobbers? Okay.
I'm going to go find some weed lines to slip bobber, especially with the rising water.
I plan to pull my slip bobbers out when I am using active target.
I think that with that rising water and those weed edges, you're going to get like 2 weed edges. Once that water rises, I think you're going to have an inside weed edge. That's going to be that 6 to 8 feet range. And then that outside weed edge, that's going to be 10 to 12. Just based on the, 12-foot curve down there.
And for those of you who aren't aware, we're talking about Lake Sakakuya as usual. And it is supposed to go up, estimate 8 feet by July 7th.
Yep.
So
a total of 12-foot rise, where they were only thinking 4 to 6 this year. So, that's good. That's
good for everyone but Thomas at Dakota Waters that has to move the docks every third day. He
Or the-
hates moving those
Oh.
ducks. It's like the one thing he says he hates more than anything else at running a resort, it's the ducks.
I can feel that because when we moved them for the floods and stuff, when I was working at River City, sucked.
Yeah, I bet. So what's cooking on the stone?
What's cooking on the stone?
What are you cooking?
Pizza burgers.
Ooh. Okay, and how do you make your pizza burgers?
I'm gonna do homemade ones.
Yeah, so tell me.
Okay, so basically salt, pepper,
Okay.
Italian seasoning.
Okay.
I'm gonna make
On the burger.
On the burger.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I am gonna put 2 of them. I'm gonna put some red pepper flake in because I like red pepper flake
Yep.
on my pizza. So I'm gonna do that on a couple, and then as they're cooking up, I'm gonna I'm gonna make a combination of garlic powder, onion powder, and a more Italian seasoning. And when I put them on there as they're cooking, I'm gonna sprinkle that over the top also, and then sauce and cheese.
Wow. Season it up. A lot of seasoning.
I love seasoning. I love the Italian seasoning. And to me, it's about layers. Like even the chicken I smoked yesterday,
Yep.
I injected it with butter and salt and pepper and Cajun rub.
Yep.
On the inside too. You know, you gotta layer flavors. That's just my thing. What are you cooking on your stone?
I'm actually a few days off from my stone because it probably needs more propane. But
They are propane picks.
Yes.
They are propane.
So I'm going to fill it up in the morning tomorrow. You know, the breakfast. Bacon, hash browns, eggs. I might throw some mushrooms in the hash browns. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to get that crazy.
You know what you need to do?
What's that?
Those hash browns.
What's that?
Make some runny over easy eggs.
Oh, see, my kids don't
Right over the
appreciate
top.
it. They don't appreciate over easy eggs.
We had the same conversation a couple weeks ago. We're like, oh, runny eggs on top of hash browns. Is there? It's nature's first gravy.
It's good stuff. Especially when you have like Pizzo's eggs, like good fresh laid eggs. That's all we've been eating this spring.
Fresh farm eggs, I don't care what anybody says, are way better than any
Store-bought. Yep.
And I'm not going to lie, I was out of some the other day, and I bought, all they had were the cage-free ones.
Okay.
These are supposed to be the better eggs at the
They're the
grocery
same.
store. No, they were actually, I think, less fresh than what,
Oh.
like the non-cage-free
Because
ones.
no one's been taking them.
Correct.
Right.
You know, and everybody's like, you can't tell the difference. Here's a little trick, people. If that yolk isn't bright orange, it's an old egg.
Well, yeah, and when we get fresh laid eggs and we make, like, say, scrambled eggs,
yeah.
it's very dark orange
Yeah.
in comparison to
Correct.
store-bought.
Yeah. So you can tell the difference, and people, I'm telling you this. Once you go fresh,
It's tough to go back. Right.
I mean, everything's just.
I drive across town to get a dozen, 2 dozen eggs. So it's with the heat. What is the best cocktails for a hot day? We're talking Margs, Mojitos, and Mules.
God, those are all good.
I know, right?
You know what, though? I must say, my guilty summer drink, my favorite, is probably mojito.
Okay.
Love my mojitos.
And
Especially-
Mojitos, the key, obviously, really good mint.
Well, I have fresh mint that grows in my house.
There you go.
Just for this purpose.
Fresh squeezed lime.
Correct.
Very fine sugar. Muddled just right. And then,
See, I use simple syrup.
oh.
I use simple syrup, but I do use sugar to muddle
Yep.
the mint to get the oils out.
Okay.
And I
Nice.
add a little shot of simple syrup,
I get you. I feel you.
and then
As we made on the podcast the other week, for those at home, if you ever want to make a really simple and fantastic margarita, get a good white tequila Don't skimp on the cheap stuff. Get a good one.
Blanco.
And use Grand Marnier. And then over, say, a triple sec. And then a squeeze and a full orange, all the juice, and a full lime. Mix that together with a hint of salt. Dynamite. And if you really want to spice it up, cut up a little piece of jalapeno and throw it in there. Oh.
What we should do is make some infused tequila with jalapenos.
Nice. But you can buy it, but...
Yeah, it's not the same.
I guess.
It's like making homemade vanilla.
Right.
I mean, given it takes time, but it's well worth it, especially at the cost of real vanilla.
Okay. So besides sushi, let's end it, since we always end it on food. Best seafood besides sushi.
I've had a couple of really, really good crawfish boil.
Okay.
That is one of my favorite. Or I love a good cioppino. And for people who don't know what a cioppino is, it's basically a seafood stew. It was invented in California, I think in San Francisco, Fisherman's Wharf, at an Italian restaurant. But it's like everything put into a pot and put like a spicy white wine and tomato sauce on top. I just deliciousness, and butter. Oh, spectacular.
When I used to travel for a living, I had so many amazing meals. It's really hard to choose because, of course, the sushi meals always stuck out.
Yeah.
But, boy, sometimes if you get the right, like Dungeness crab over on the West Coast, if you get fresh Dungeness crab, which you don't see that, it's seasoned, it's regional. Amazing.
You had the stone crabs in Miami at all?
No.
Okay, I haven't either, but I heard that's like the best.
I've been to the Keys and back, and I had some wahoo raw.
Oh,
dude,
that was just like we had mahi from Hawaii.
Okay.
God, that was just, we caught it that day. It was just stupid good.
Nice. And I love my scallops.
Oh,
so
you love your scallops.
I've never had a scallop I didn't like.
And then that one cioppino I had in the cities that was so good that had scallops in it.
Oh, why wouldn't it?
Scallops,
can it be
mussels.
cioppino without scallops?
No, I don't think so.
Let's end it on food. I'm Chris Husted.
I'm Jason Renner.
This was Review Your Gear Radio.
Thanks for tuning in to Review Your Gear Radio. Be sure to tune in next episode, and don't forget to check out reviewyourgear.com. Also, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Till next time, tight lines and good times in the outdoors.